Christmas Eve in 1945, 5 children from the large Asada family disappeared and were never seen again. Their family home in Fayetteville, West Virginia was the site of a huge fire, and while parents George and Jeannie and 4 of their children managed to escape the burning building, 5 of their children were unaccounted for, and their remains are never recovered. In a strange and upsetting twist of events, a significant amount of unexplained problems arose when George Sauter tried to rescue his children, including a ladder being missing, windows not opening, and no operator working at the fire station that night. How the fire started and what happened to the Sauter children remains unknown today. Number two. The murder of Paul Logan. On December 23rd, 1993, Paul Logan was at work as a Chinese food delivery driver in Black Hill County, Durham, in England, where he was called to deliver an order to Blue House Farm. When Logan arrived at the farm, the dad of 2 was told no food order had been placed by the homeowners and he headed back to his car. The owners at Blue House Farm raised the alarm when they noticed that his white car was still sitting at the end of their lane to their home later that evening. When police arrived, they searched the area and uncovered Logan's body. He had been bludgeoned to death. Today, his family is still searching for answers. Can you guys hear the tapping if I keep the mic closer to my mouth? I wonder, can you guys hear the tapping still? Okay. Number three. The John Benet Ramsey case. I know you guys have probably heard of this case already, and I know right now it's very popularly being talked about. It's always been very popularly talked about, but I believe they are reinvestigating the case at this moment, and so that's why a lot of people are talking about it right now. But anyways, this is the backstory. On Christmas Day in 1996, 6-year-old John Benet Ramsey was found dead in her family's home in Boulder, Colorado. Ramsey's body was discovered in the basement of the house alongside a ransom note 7 hours after she was reported missing. The autopsy report ruled her death as a homicide caused by asphyxia by strangulation associated with cranial cerebral trauma. At first, police suspected the pageant queen's parents, John and Patsy Ramsey, were responsible for her death. However, there was insufficient evidence to charge them with any offenses. They were completely cleared as suspects in 2008. Another theory put forward by police was that an intruder had broken into the family home and committed the killing. In 2003, DNA was found on Ramsey's clothes that belonged to an unidentified male. To this day, Ramsey's killer has never been found, and her death has been the subject of numerous podcasts, documentaries, movies, and TV dramas. People across the world are still trying to make sense of how this could have happened to a little girl. In 2006, John Mark Carr confessed in an email to killing Ramsey, but there was no evidence found linking Carr to the crime. Carr was never charged. I think it was the parents. Either the parents or the brother. It was with somebody that lived in that house. Christmas tree lady. Okay, I don't know why this lady keeps yelling. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but if you can, I'm so sorry. On December 18th, 1996, a woman who became known as the Christmas tree lady was discovered dead, lying on a plastic sheet in Annandale, Virginia, at the Pleasant Valley Memorial Park Cemetery. She was approximately 60 years old and had never been identified. The police discovered beside her body a Christmas tree, a tape player, and a note that read, "Deceased by own hand, preferred no autopsy," and was signed Jane Doe. The note also requested that she be cremated and included money to cover the cost. Her cause of death was ruled as asphyxiation, and investigators believed that she had taken her own life. However, for almost two decades, what is that? However, for almost 2 decades, nobody came forward to identify Jane Doe and the motivation behind her death remains unknown. That's crazy. Earlier this year, DNA and genealogy research led to the Christmas tree lady being identified. She was Joyce Marilyn Myers Somers, originally from Davenport, Iowa. She was the oldest of 5 siblings. At the time of her death, Meyer had not been reported missing and did not have family in the immediate area. Relatives had hired a private detective to look for her. Ah, shit. I'm sorry. This laptop be acting stupid. Relatives had hired a private detective to look for her, but had no success. Okay. Number 5. On Christmas Eve, Ed and Minnie Warren. On Christmas Eve 1985, the couple's bodies were found in woodland after they had been shot in the head near their home in Ethel, Washington. It was not until 2012 their family finally got justice when witnesses came forward with evidence. But for years, the couple's unexpected death baffled authorities, and an investigation in the 2010s discovered the Barnes had been kidnapped by Rick Riff and John Gregory, notorious drug dealers in the local area, who forced them to withdraw $8,500 in cash. They were then driven to the woods and shot in their car. Unfortunately, witnesses did not come forward fearing retribution from the men. But years later, Rick and John Gregory were picked out of a lineup by witnesses who had seen them driving the Morrises' car. John Gregory died before he could be arrested, but Rick Wright was charged with 2 counts of murder in the first degree, 2 counts of robbery in the first degree, and 1 count of burglary in the first degree. He was found guilty and sentenced to 103 years in prison. Number 6. The Covina Massacre. Covina, a Los Angeles suburb, was a grisly scene on Christmas Eve 2008. The killer, Bruce Jeffrey Bardo, showed up at a holiday party wearing a festive Santa Claus costume. The problem was he wasn't invited, and he was out for blood. Bardo opened fire on his ex-wife Sylvia Ortega Bardo, and approximately 25 of her guests, including an 8-year-old girl who answered the door, before unwrapping the gift he had brought, a homemade flamethrower. The blaze divorce had just been finalized. Barto's divorce had just been finalized the week before, and police speculated. That's a nice trigger word. Speculated. I might do a trigger video. This was the trigger that led, to his massacre of 9 people, including Sylvia and her parents. Though Bardo carried a plane ticket that pointed to a getaway plan, he took his own life shortly after the attack, but not before starting a fire that consumed the house. The blaze ignited by racing fuel and fed by the festive light in 2 fireplaces, took 80 firefighters nearly 2 hours to extinguish. Many of the victims had to be identified through dental records. Crazy. Number 7. Oh, that wasn't loud. Number 7. The Dallas Christmas killings. Another killer, Santa, says he has Pana, who donned the festive red and white outfit in anticipation of his rampage on December 25th, 2011. Entered his estranged wife's Dallas, Texas home and began shooting the family. They had just finished unwrapping presents. All in all, he murdered 6 people, including his wife and 2 children, before killing himself. The victims and 2 handguns were discovered in the kitchen and living room, with the presents and wrapping paper littering the floor. Pana had been dealing with financial and marital issues, which detectives believe contributed to his mindset before the murder-suicide. Like the Covina case, it's likely the suicide was a last-minute decision when the killer found himself overwhelmed. The crime scene showed attempts by Pana to frame his brother-in-law by placing one of the guns in his hand. Number 8. The Lawson family murders. On Christmas Day in 1929, tobacco farmer Charlie Lawson killed his wife and all but one of his 7 children at his Germantown, North Carolina home. Just days after getting the family together for an expensive family portrait, and shortly after he and his eldest son Arthur went hunting, Lawson hid by the barn and ambushed 2 of his daughters, shooting and bludgeoning them. Walking back toward the house, he killed his wife on the porch and then hunted down his oldest daughter and 2 youngest sons who were hiding inside. Then he went into the woods where he killed himself. The sole survivor of the massacre was Arthur, age 16, who had gone into town for some extra ammunition after their morning hunt. Although we still don't know why Lawson killed his family, Carr says murders in general are more likely to be committed by somebody in the victim's family than by a stranger. Wow. Okay, so the last story is kind of long. That's why I saved it for the end. The end. Okay. I was actually nearing the end of the story the second time I was recording this video, and I had to stop. So, yeah. And you guys know I can't edit my videos, so if I could, I wouldn't have to keep redoing the whole video over, but it has to be close to perfect since I can't edit it. But anyway, for young people, this is the Southwest Ohio Christmas murder spree. 4 young people embarked on a shooting rampage that left 6 people dead, 2 others injured, and impacted scores of others. Friends so sinister, even in the light of the things that are going on today, said Dolberg, a Dayton homicide detective who worked the case. Starting as petty robberies that netted a plaid coat, a pair of sneakers, and $44, the crime escalated to something else: joy killings. They were just killing people randomly for nothing, literally nothing, Burke said. There was not even a motive in these cases. It was just for fun. They were like a shark. Once they tasted blood, they couldn't stop. The 4 people convicted of the killings were part of the so-called downtown posse, a group that spent most days bumming money on Courthouse Square. I don't know what that means. I'm guessing it's the people with the signs that be like, oh, help me feed my kids. Give me money, I need money. Until they graduated to something much worse. In the early hours of Christmas Eve, Laura Taylor, age 16, and her boyfriend Marvelous Keene, age 19, put in play a plan to rob a man Taylor figured would pay them for sex. Taylor called Joseph Wilkerson, age 34, and promised him an orgy. As part of the plan, the couple recruited 20-year-old Heather Nicole Matthews, who had been released from prison a few months before. Taylor said, Taylor was tough as nails and the intellectual leader of the group. She also proved capable of murder. As Wilkerson was bound to the headboard in his bedroom with electrical cords, the trio scoured the house for valuables and found a .32 caliber Derringer that Keene used to shoot Wilkerson in the chest, according to police records. Matthews would later testify at her trial in 1993 that Taylor put a .25 caliber weapon to Wilkerson's head and shot him a second time. The three ransacked the dead man's house, stole his car, and used it to hunt for more victims. On Neal Avenue, the group, which now included Matthews' 17-year-old boyfriend DeMarcus Murray Smith, found 18-year-old Danita Khalid talking on a payphone. Danita, a senior at Patterson Cooperative High School and the mother of a 2-year-old, was a complete stranger. At least one account will later say she was shot for her Fila tennis shoes. Police found her body on the ground outside the telephone booth, shot 5 times. The pavement was covered with blood and .25 caliber blazer aluminum bullet shell casings. Those casings would help investigators tie the events together, along with the random nature of some of the victims and the sheer senselessness of the crimes. Taking from Colette were her coat, shoes, and a backpack containing 50 cents. Why does the fact that it contained 50 cents matter? The group, what year was this? 1992. 50 cents, it did not matter. Okay. The group were returned to Wilkerson's house and stayed the night, but attempted to claim one more Christmas Eve victim, Matthew's ex-boyfriend Jeffrey Wright. So they went back to the house of the dude they killed and spent the night and tried to kill one of the people they was with, ex's ex-boyfriend. Smith, so which is the person that had the person who ex-boyfriend they're going to kill. Smith put 4 bullets into Wright's legs, and according to police, but he escaped to a neighbor's house and survived. The Wilkerson killing gave them a base of operation and a vehicle. They could have stopped by just gagging him, but I don't think that was ever in their game plan. That's wow, that's true. Let's give them like a headquarters. Okay. On Christmas Day, the 16-year-old Taylor coaxed her old boyfriend Richmond Maddox, 19 years old, from his parents' home, and the two left in Maddox's car, with Keene, Smith, and Matthews trailing behind. Maddox eventually spotted the trailing car, became suspicious, and gunned the accelerator. Taylor put a derringer to his right temple and fired. Taylor bailed out of the car before it crashed on Benton Avenue. Maddox was later declared dead from a gunshot wound to the head. Burke says spree killers are exceedingly violent, often choose their victims at random and kill for the enjoyment of it. While there were multiple victims, there are more victims, he points out. It's the family members and friends that will never outlive this. Sarah Abram, mother of 3, received a hand-drawn picture from her daughter for Christmas. A day later, she became the 4th victim of the Christmas posse. Abraham was behind the counter at the Shortstop Mini Market, the family-owned grocery on West 5th Street, when Taylor walked in to case the place. Minutes later, Smith and Keene walked in, and Keene shot Abraham twice in the head. The weapons, bullets similar to the Keenans found next to Colette's body on Neal Avenue. A witness in the store was shot in the hand and stomach but survived. Abraham died 5 days later. This time, the gang got away with $44. Moving around the city, the gang switched license plates on multiple stolen vehicles to elude police. Thinking some within the group might snitch, the 4 ringleaders, Taylor, Keene, Matthews, and Smith, turned on 2 of their own. Oh my God. On the witness stand, Matthews said the group believed Wendy Cottrell, age 16, and Marvin Washington, age 18, could implicate them in the previous deaths, and Abraham was killed. After Abraham was killed, the group picked up Cottrell and Washington and bought some beer and wine. Keene, saying he had to urinate, pulled into a gravel yard on a Ridgely Drive. Smith and Keene ordered Cottrell and Washington out of the car, marched them behind a large pile of dirt, and executed them. The bodies would not be found until the killers were in custody. Cottrell and Washington marked the 5th and 6th victims of the killers' rampage. A woman airing up her tires at Salem Avenue gas station might have been the 7th, but she ran when her Dodge Shadow was stolen at gunpoint. A short time later, some 72 hours after the first killing, Dayton Police Sergeant John Huber eyed a suspicious vehicle, that same Dodge Shadow, on Cumler Avenue. Smith, Keene, Matthews, and Taylor were inside. Huber called in a plate check, and when the register didn't come back to a Dodge Shadow, units closed in from all directions. After so much violence, the gang's capture was fairly uneventful. Smith ran into a nearby house but was quickly captured, while the other 3, Keene, Matthews, and Taylor, were taken into custody without incident. Huber, who is now the Director of Public Safety for Sinclair Community College, said afterward he learned that Taylor had ordered Keene to shoot Huber, but for some reason he didn't. It was a tragic crime at Christmas, a tough time of year, Huber says now. It's sad we couldn't have gotten to them sooner. There was no rhyme or reason. There was That's crazy.